Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room our good buddy, Tommy Greene. Good morning, T.D. Greene.
Good morning, my friend. You sound pretty good today.
Yeah, man, I'm hyped up, man. If Kyle Schwarber's hitting 270. I mean, excuse me. See, I'm so excited. I had a little coffee today. JT Romuto's hit 270.
You had coffee? Oh, my God.
He doesn't need it, Tommy.
You're telling me? My better half is the same way. So I know how it is.
Yeah, but I didn't finish drinking. It got me too hyped up, and I had to stop. Hey, Tommy, what do you think? So the Philadelphia Phillies, we had this question about the Phillies. Yeah. What was the biggest storyline? So I'm going to ask you, Tommy, what do you think the biggest storyline is for the Phillies in the first half?
Biggest storyline?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question.
Phillies pitching.
Well, I mean, I think it's been over. I mean, it's been the pitching.
Yeah.
Overall pitching has been the mainstay that kept them there. The starting pitching has, and that's a huge thing. And then I say a close second is Schwarber, what he's done to keep it right there. It's a huge thing. Those two things right there are the reasons why they're where they're at. There. I mean, it takes a team, but to do all facets of it to do it. But that's why we're where we're at right now, and we could be better. It's all about getting on the right roll at the right time, and the team is capable of doing that. We've seen it. So,
hey, Tommy, yesterday we had Scott Air on. I haven't talked to our good friend Scott Air. He thought he was coming out of the bullpen for you yesterday. I said, "No, Tommy's on Sunday, but we're bringing you up today." I said, I asked him.
You turned him into a starter on Saturday. Yes, on Saturday.
Yeah, but a lot of people say that one of the biggest storylines is the fact that the Phillies are in first place over the Mets by a game and a half. On July 19th, with the Phillies inconsistent on offense and the bullpen's in shatters.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's what so people got to look at it, instead of pushing the panic button all the time. And there are some positives about this. Yeah, could they be better? Yes, and I think they're going to try to address some of that here in the next couple of weeks. To do that, to try to help them be more consistent and do some things. But, for them to be where they're at right now and not playing up their I think it's awesome. I mean, it's great. And that's the way you look at it. They're capable of playing better baseball with who they got there right now. And it could work out to the same. But I think they got some, the bullpen is a huge thing, is one player going to make a huge difference on offense? It could help, but it takes everybody. Right. Everybody's got to get more things. But a bullpen guy, that can close it, that can get it done, that's done it is a massive thing when you get in the late innings like that and you're up by one and not giving up a run to seal the deal. That's a huge thing. So I hope they get it done and somebody that can do that job for them.
Every Sunday during the baseball season, we go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Tommy, this is you played for many years. We're getting close to the trade deadline, and the Phillies. I'm sure they're human, just like you are, and the guys here in the locker room. They hear the grumblings, they hear about their shortcomings. So, as a player, when the trade deadline approaches, they're aware of what's going on, what's being said, right?
Yeah, I mean, you hear things. But bottom line, we're creatures of habit, and you go and we take care of what's in front of us right now, today, and you walk in the clubhouse, it's win day, and that's what you think about is win today, and the rest of it's not in your control. It's for the upper echelon to take care of and do that. That's their job, and that's what they do. And it's your job to play on the field and get it done. If we do what we're capable of doing and we win today, that makes your job easier.
But Tommy, you guys are human. Nobody wants to get traded. I know, like I said, I know Berube talking.
But how do you control it? How do you control what are you going to do? Get mad and upset and pout and all that crap?
Play better.
You're not. Hey, John Crook, we said this before, said it perfectly. If you don't want to hear nothing about that stuff, you don't want to hear nobody booing you, play better. So bottom line.
That's the Philly mentality you got to have when you play in this city. Good morning, Tommy. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the guy that Billy brought up at the beginning of this segment, and that's JT Realmuto, our catcher. Obviously, as we're all well aware of, he's in the final year of his 5-year, $115 million contract. And, well, at the beginning of the season, it seemed like a pretty easy answer as to whether or not to re-sign him. Was struggling at the plate. Obviously, still good behind the plate, but wasn't hitting the ball well. But that's quickly changed. Last month, he's batting .342 with 40 hits. Last 15 games, he's batting damn near .400, .393 with 24 hits. And we know he's still got a plus arm, great pop time behind the plate. Does struggle with framing from time to time. We see that every now and again. We saw it in San Francisco, and Cuzzy didn't help. But what do you think about JT Realmuto? I mean, obviously, if you re-sign him, you don't want to give him a long-term deal. Where do you stand on extending or maybe letting JT Realmuto walk?
Well, I mean, it all depends on what he wants, and that's what, to me, is the player. The player is going to dictate. You know, they're going to have that conversation with him, different things. But bottom line is, you know, how many years is he looking for, or wants to play, or is he willing to have a 2-year, 3-year deal? You know, nothing longer than that. You know, while they prepare for his replacement, hopefully somebody from within makes that move, and you know. Or they get somebody, you know, through a trade or something like that that can take over when he decides to go. You know, now you look back at it, the trade we had, you know, with the Angels with O'Hoppe.
I know.
It'd be great to have that guy in the wings.
Man,
now.
He can hit a home run, can he?
He's a pretty good guy, but see, that's part of the game. So it's all going to depend on what JT wants to do. And where he's happy at, his family's happy at, that plays a big deal. And how much money does he want? You know, does he need? And you know, that type of thing. Those are questions. You know, would I like to see him stay here? Yes, for the pitching's sake,
right?
Because he knows it.
Well, Tommy, he
still can play. He's showing you he can still hit. You know, is he going to hit? I mean, he's obviously had, you know, since that first month or so when he was scuffling, he's been on fire, doing what he needs to do. You can't ask for any better from your catcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think the power's gone, but he's still hitting for singles. He's still hitting for doubles. Do you think the framing's an issue with him at all? I mean, behind the plate, I know people talk about it all the time. It's something that may go unnoticed, but do you think that's an issue and being, you know, a detriment to maybe not our starting staff because they're so good, but the relievers?
Well, no, I think a lot of time when we start looking at all this stuff, and you know, with all the analytics and the numbers they put on things right there, a lot of times you're splitting hairs, right? You know, because a lot of it depends on the pitching staff, the way they throw things. Are they missing their target by that far? You know what I mean? You know, it's not always the catcher's fault. It takes two to tango. You know, so that's you know, that's the things I look at. You know. If we're doing what we're capable of doing, you know, and executing like we're capable of doing, it makes his job a little easier, you know. So, you know, but if you're missing your target by a good bit, I mean, look at the guys and stuff that these guys got now. You know, I mean, all those starting pitchers, you know, are high velocity guys, except for Suarez, you know, for the most part, you know, the top three are. I mean, especially with, you know, with Sanchez and Wheeler and Luzardo, they're all high velocity guys with movement. You know what I mean? With you know, I mean, with that type of stuff. So when you start having late movement on things right there, it can affect, you know, how a guy receives things, you know, a little bit. You know, it kind of, you know, because sometimes they're back there holding on a little bit because they've got. I mean, those guys, they throw so hard, and I mean, the ball is late moving like that. I mean, sometimes it's a little iffy. Some guys are better at that. Like Wheeler's probably a little more easier to catch than, you know, than Luzardo. Luzardo could be just a touch more erratic, you know, and so can Sanchez. You know, so you know, so that makes his job a little more difficult. Yeah. So
the way I see it is, I mean, listen, you give Kyle Schwarber a blank check, get him taken care of, and if a team's going to overpay for JT, let him walk. If he wants a short-term contract, willing to take a hometown discount, then you sign him back.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the way I look at it. I mean, if they keep some guys here and they got the pitch here, if you got pitching, you're going to always have a chance in some aspect or another. I mean, the mold was built for that years ago with the Braves. You know, the Braves did that a long time ago. They were where they were at, and they stayed in contention for all those years because they're pitching and timely hitting they got. Not unless they pounded the ball out of the ballpark all the time. They had timely hits. They were never out of a ball game late. They felt like they could win ball games late because their pitching kept them there, to give them a chance to do it. So, and that's the thing. You always gonna have to tweak things in your staff and stuff, relievers and stuff like that. So that's what you're trying to do. But bottom line, if you can maintain a good core, on the offensive side, it gives you a chance. You got to have some guys that step up in the organization, or guys, you get from somewhere else that make improvements and step up to the big leagues and contribute. So,
hey, good morning, Tommy. So moving on from the one other free agent to the other big free agent, Kyle Schwarber. I mean, obviously he's been lighting up the ball this entire season, winning All-Star Game MVP. I mean, nobody's hotter than Kyle Schwarber in Philadelphia right now, and I just wanted to hear from your perspective, how big of a priority should it be for Dave Dombrowski to, lock this guy into a contract extension?
Well, they pretty much, the big dog pretty much said, I mean, they love him and they love what he brings to the city and the organization and the stuff in the clubhouse, and that's pretty much saying, they want to do it. And like I said, it takes two to tango. I think it's going to be. I think he would want to stay here, and if they, how old is Schwarber now? I haven't really looked. He's 33 or 4.
He's 31.
He's
younger than you think.
Oh, I thought he was like 34.
So that could be.
He's 32. He's 32. Just turned 32.
He's a guy right now. They got him in a mold right now where he's not beating his body up. Playing a position out there right now. He's DHing, right. and he's been a very good DH. What he brings to the table, and as I say back in the chicks dig the long ball, and they're digging him pretty hard right now. So in Philadelphia, so I mean he does that very well. He's exciting. He puts butts in the seats because of that. So. It, to me, would probably be in their best interest to do that type of stuff. I mean, to do it, to get him done, unless it's something, he's looking for something stupid. I mean, there's a line, you just don't throw out your blank check and give it to him, I don't think, unless you got somebody like you're dealing with Judge who plays a position out there and do, basically what they did, or Otani or something like that. You almost give him a blank check, but, it's I think that's somebody who brings that to the table. You want to have that guy in your organization, and you want to have that guy in your city because he's exciting. I think they should get it done, and I think between both sides they'll work something out. Because he's been to different organizations and done different things. Bottom line, it's going to come down to what he wants and where he wants to stay. If he wants to stay here, he'll get it done.
He's third in the National League. Actually, second, Shohei Otani and Suarez are tied with 33 home runs. Schwarber with 32. Hey, today, Tommy, real quick, before we let you go, Ranger Suarez is on the hill, 7-3 with a 2.15 ERA. He's just a picture of calmness, isn't he, out there? What do you make of him? How do you like his demeanor on the mound? I love it.
I call him Cool Hand Luke. He's the epitome of what pitchers you need as far as controlling your emotions. He's like a good gambler, good card player. Don't tip your hand, with his demeanor, his emotions. He doesn't let that, affect him so much. And that's sort of the way you're taught. But, I know with the Braves organization was the way. Don't let the other team know what you're feeling, no matter how bad it's going or how good it's going.
Right.
That's what. And if you look back in the day, with all the Braves guys and stuff, I know that it's pretty good. They were pretty stoic out there with Glavine and Maddox and the guys. They did. You didn't see the emotion. But I knew all those guys. But within, that's what made them so great. They internalized things and used it in a positive manner. And that's what you have to learn how to do, not let the poor woe is me, things are going bad, get to you, and hang your head and do that. You never saw that. They use that fire and that, to help them. And that's a learned trait I think you have to do because, self-pity will kill you. You know.
All right, Tommy Greene, as always, brother. We love your perspective on the Phillies, and look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great rest of your weekend. Tell Wendy we said hello.
You got it, my friend. Thank you very much.
There he is. On the Mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene is sponsored by Blitz's Market of Ocean City.